This is sheer, unrepentant, ridiculous incompetence and terrible communication, as far as I can see. Idubbbz referencing Gamergate in 2025. Wow. Mark off your bingo card, guys.
And go figure, the white guy 8 years later is like, I think Anita Sarkeesian was kind of onto something. There's a lot of assholes on the internet, and they're kind of misogynistic too, I think. You could say that people on the right are mostly concerned about themselves. That might be like a fair assessment. If you
What? Dude, is that what? What? That is obscene. You guys are so desperate for a little scrap of this, me watching something to do with this guy. So I'll give it to you now. I'll give it to you hot and heavy. We're ready.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Okay.
But how do I make money off depressed people?
We're getting in there.
For a low price of 1 million yuan, I can get.
Oh, and look who turns him in chat straight away. Nicholas Diori, of course. Hungry as he is for more fucking Idubbbz content. Unbelievable. Anyway, guys. I'll be fair. There's a lot of fucking Ian hate going around. Some of it justified. Some of it probably excessive. I will be fair. I'll be reasonable. I'll give my real, correct takes about the situation. Let's see what's going on.
Now, thankfully for me, I have the majority of this video already recorded. This is just a little addendum. I think an addendum is something that you put at the end, but this is a predendum. I'm throwing in a little predendum. Something that I've been struggling with for a long time on YouTube is concern trolling. The thing that I really struggle with is not identifying concern trolling. The difficult part of it is when there are people who have authentic concern out there and the concern trolls are concerned over the same thing. So I'm like, oh fuck, I'm giving in to the concern trolls by addressing, you know, this segment of the population or this segment of my fan base who have genuine concerns. So I don't want to let the trolls inhibit my ability to communicate to my fans or people who are confused out there. So I want to talk about Creator Clash. I want to talk about the structure of the business and how it's changed over the years and just sort of put to rest any of the lies that are being spread out.
So with the Creator Clash stuff, I followed it a bit, but not too closely. My basic understanding is they've stepped away from Creator Clash. Because of that, it's also meant that a bunch of like fighters have dropped out because they've had to change the time of it and the location. And it's basically, to put it simply, a totally raped event at this point. And Creator Clash has basically crumbled at the seams. You know, they're not involved anymore. Fighters have dropped out. The time's changed, the venue's changed, and then there's now, which I'm sure he's going to get into, new information that's come out about the event that suggests that there was a non-charitable aspect to it or something. Let's see what he says about it and see what we think about it.
Out there about Anissa, about me, and about the event. My main incentive for sharing this information is that I have felt extremely handcuffed by Creator Clash these past years because I'm not an expert communicator and I don't know how to convey things, not over-communicate, not do all these things.
Okay, dude. What this sounds like
Okay,
already.
that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
I feel like if you're at a point where you're addressing the trolls in your videos, that instantly puts you at Lolco tier.
Thank you for the $5. Appreciate it. What this feels like already is setting up the idea that he's a bad communicator, and that's why some of these issues have occurred, right? And whilst I think that there's probably some truth to that in terms of some of the stuff that's come up should have been disclosed much earlier, and now he's having to answer to it once it's been revealed by someone other than himself, and he looks terrible. You know, it feels like he's sort of preloading the defense before even getting into anything to do with Creator Clash here. But let's see what he says.
Potentially put the event at risk and put other people at risk, and that's kind of why I wanted to step away from this event. It feels like it's inhibiting my ability, like the business side of things, like inhibits my ability to communicate openly and effectively, especially when there's so many people counting on me to, you know, do that well. So it's a lot of pressure, and now that Anissa and I have stepped away from it, I want to just clear the air because I don't feel that same pressure.
See, the problem with this is that he released the video before doing this, right? Regardless of what you think about his content cop on Ethan Klein, it clearly provoked a very strong response that has led to a lot of controversy then surrounding him. right? Now, I've said before, for me, the tone of some of the criticism and analysis of Creator Clash changed. And I didn't find it as interesting to talk about. Because when it was like, oh, Idubbbz is shit at running an event and it's failing. Haha, get fucking raped, idiot. Right? That was more interesting and entertaining for me. But it basically, in my mind, got wrapped up in this forever retard war between Ethan and Hassan. And rather than it just be laughing at someone that can't run an event effectively, it became sort of wrapped up in that story. And it became wrapped up in that tale. Right? And I think one of the undeniable reasons for that is that he decided to put this video out. Whatever you think about the video, right, that obviously is going to have some impact on the course of this event, even if there's a lot of very angry people that are trying to fuck with the event and trying to cancel it even. You are still putting that event in a position where there's going to be issues. So it's like you're bolting the stable door after the horse is bolted. And if this is the pathway that you wanted to take, it's very obvious that you should have handed this off, you know, months ago before any of this started to happen, you know? And then the event could have been tucked away quite nicely in the hands of someone else. You could have done this fucking content cop, done whatever you wanted to do, and that wouldn't have been affected. But now, unfortunately, it's all been wrapped up in this narrative. And so it's become part of this fucking Ethan Hassan retard war. And you've obviously picked a side. And now that event is suffering consequences. It's why I don't really agree with this, like, oh, you know, it's a charity event. It's a charity event. It's like, yes, that's true. And like wishing for a charity event to fail is shitty, sure. But Idubbbz has contributed to the issue significantly by choosing this course of action and not handing it off earlier, you know? It's like, why not just hand it off to someone? And then you don't have any of these concerns. But you did. You didn't do that. And now it's wrapped up in all this fucking controversy. And you've had to do it kind of hurriedly, like in the midst of all this drama happening. And now the event seemingly has kind of just crumbled at the seams. Loads of fighters aren't fighting anymore because it's changed venue and it's changed time. And some people just, I guess, don't want to be associated with all the fucking drama around it. And I don't know, it's just a bit fucked. It's a bit fucked, really. Obviously, people have taken it on thinking they can do something with it. So fair enough. Good luck to them or whatever. But the kind of stink of this is now on it. And it's because Idubbbz didn't do this sooner, which I don't really understand.
That I did when I was part of the event. If you look into charity events, they come in so many different shapes and sizes, and there is really no format that is completely obvious for creator boxing plus charity. For the first Creator Clash, we had the business model of after everyone has been paid for, you know, the expenses of the event, all profits go to charity. That was the business model, and it was successful. Thankfully, it worked out the first year. Now, some people will be critical of one of the costs being parties for Creator Clash 2 and actually Creator Clash 1, because that's where we got the idea from. It was very successful for Creator Clash 1, or the event was successful. We don't know if the party worked to encourage people to promote the event, but that was the idea. You get a bunch of creators to show up to a fucking hotel the night before their fight, and they're going to post about it on social media.
Right, okay. So I don't actually hate this idea, right? Influencers are very self-centered, and if they're at some fucking exclusive party, right, they're maybe going to want to talk about it and maybe going to want to promote it, okay? So I don't hate the idea necessarily. The problem comes in when you start to look and break down, well, who is actually going to the party for Creator Clash 2, right? Okay? Frogan went to a fucking Creator Clash 2 party. What value, like, you need to look at it as a value proposition. I'm going to bring an influencer along, and how, you know, who are they and how are they going to promote it? What meaningful promotion can Frogan bring to your event? Like, it's just a complete cope. And clearly they were just wanting to my perspective, they just wanted to invite a bunch of their fucking influencer friends along without actually thinking and breaking down, well, what are they actually going to do for us? Because there's no like cost benefit analysis that you can do of inviting someone like Frogan. And I'm only using Frogan because I know about who Frogan is, right? I'm sure there's other examples too you could use. I'm not trying to bully Frogan, guys, okay? I don't want to bully Frogan. Frogan's had enough, Okay, Frogan's had enough as far as I'm concerned, right? If you know what I'm talking about. She has stomached enough, okay? I'm sure there's other examples, but what analysis are you doing that would lead you to think that inviting Frogan to your event would bring about like meaningful promotion that would justify the cost of bringing them along? Like, it's ridiculous. So don't hate the idea. I think obviously, as we know, terribly executed in terms of Creator Clash 2.
And the internet will be abuzz. And the event was successful, so we thought that that strategy of having, you know, a little hubbub, a little hullabaloo before the event and after the event was a good idea. So we ran with that strategy again, hoping that creators will post about it and be excited about it and buzz will be generated, but it didn't happen. Or maybe it did happen, but it just didn't sell tickets. I would cross that off my list as a learning experience of, well, if you do this strategy, you either gotta force people to post about it or you have to...
Also, unless you're thinking of some further event, what does doing it after, what benefit does doing it after bring? That doesn't really make any sense. Having an after party after the event. Like, in the lead up to it, if you're trying to sell, like, pay-per-view tickets, for example, it might make sense to have some sort of influencer party. But why after?
To fucking, I don't know, not do it. You gotta make sure that people are slapping each other during the weigh-in. That's probably what I'd change it to. Because it's cheaper, you know? It's a lot cheaper if people slap each other during the weigh-in. Just wasn't about that. I was just like, I don't want this fake drama shit. For the second Creator Clash, we used the same business model. This time we increased the budget, we had more fighters, we had a bigger arena, and more expenses in general. As a result of that, there were a lot more costs, and our ticket sales did not make up those costs. It seemed very obvious that this was not the way to run the charity boxing event. We told our business partners, we are not going to do this event again unless it can be promised to us that there was a way to guarantee money for charity. And the business model that was presented to us was what we're enacting, or what we did enact this year with Creator Clash 3. And that is, the for-profit side of the business is unincorporated.
Right.
Chud, since Mr. Lips is in chat, I think it's a good tag to bring up the Monopoly Royal Rumble of commentary. Hashtag AG4L.
Thank you for the super chats.
With the charity aspect. So the charity partner is its own fundraiser that we sort of like push people to, you know, before, during, and after the event. I think where some of the confusion is that many people...
Wait a second. Okay. There could be some truth to this. I've never run a charity event before.
Okay, that's wonderful.
Right? I don't know what the ins and outs of it are.
Depressed people.
I've never liked Idubbbz. I enjoyed watching Kino Casino produce hours of slop logging the jommers, but the Forever Regard War ruined it for me.
Thank you for the super chats. But it's like, Idubbbz has spoken about this before in very generic terms, in very generalized terms. It's like you're only hearing now about the detail of it after it's been, you know, embarrassingly revealed by someone else, some of the details of this. Like, the lack of transparency is absolutely critical here in terms of, like, looking at this. So, Idubbbz can be totally correct about this, and the way the business is set up could be completely legitimate. I think even, like, Ludwig was saying that this is a legitimate way of running it. But when it comes to charity, especially if there is some for-profit component, you need to be extremely upfront and explain that fully. Because people are always going to be sensitive when it comes to charity of the charitable cause being at the forefront of it. And if there's like a for-profit element and it gets found out about after, regardless of whether or not that's legitimate, it's always going to come across badly and that you're trying to obfuscate or obscure in some way. Okay? That's the problem here. Now, don't get me wrong. If he'd have said ahead of time, I'm going to do a for-profit element and explained it, he still would have gotten shit, obviously, because the previous event failed and people might focus on that and talk about that, right? I'm sure that people would still do that. But at least you can say that you're being upfront before people decide what, when, and how they want to contribute to this. The lack of transparency, even if this is correct, even if what he's saying is true, is lethal to the credibility here. Like, it's only after everything is said and done that we're now finding out about this Yes, you do invite more scrutiny and criticism if you reveal it up front, but it's far better to be transparent initially, even if you get some shit for that, rather than it come out through a third party later, and then you need to desperately try and explain what this 34% thing means. So, whilst I think there probably, you know, is maybe some truth to like running a charity event and how it's run, and there's a business where you can set it up, whatever. The lack of transparency for me is the issue here.
The partner is it this creators model that was presented to us was what we're enacting, or what we did enact this year with Creator Clash 3. And that is the for-profit side of the business is unincorporated with the charity aspect. So the charity partner is its own fundraiser that we sort of like push people to, you know, before, during, and after the event. I think where some of the confusion is that many people don't understand how charity events operate, because to be honest, they're all very different. And with something like a charity boxing event, there's a lot of money that you have to front to put it on in the first place. And if you have an investor, you're able to do that.
Yeah, also, that's a good point as well. I don't think there'd be a problem if it was a for-profit charity event. The problem is they say it's all for charity. Why not just why not just present it as, you know, we fucked up the charity component last time. We're going to run a for-profit charity event, and there's also this separate aspect that is for charity. But we want to be clear from the start that this is how we're going to be running it. It is different to last time. We did fuck it up. Is that an issue? Is that a problem? Is that not just full transparency? And then you can't really fucking complain, can you? Because he's stating it out clearly. Is that not a solution to this problem? Because, I mean, you know, the Creator Clash 3 stuff, when I looked at it at first, it was a bit confusing, I think, because it was all for charity, apparently. Or that was the perception that you had. And then he had this, like, separate fundraising link. But it wasn't made clear that there was a for-profit element, as far as I can remember. And now he's explaining it after the fact, once it's been revealed by a third party.
That investor is going to want money, they're going to want profit, but that at least gives you the initial funds to put on the event. There are other charity initiatives and events that allow people to spend money for a ticket and immediately get a product, and also their money goes to charity. Those are usually big fucking conglomerates, giant companies that can afford that cost because they're selling you other things. Some people have an idea of charity events as being like a strictly altruistic thing where everyone is just sacrificing their time and energy and money for the charity.
I mean, yeah, sure. This is true.
Okay, that's
This
wonderful.
is true.
But how do I make money?
But why are we only hearing about it now?
I remember them saying they'd get someone else to run it and separate the charity aspect and take a payday ages and ages ago on their stupid podcast.
Thank you for the super chat. Not good enough. Not good enough. If you don't want the public backlash once this gets revealed, you should be saying this all ages ago when it first started. Like, it's true that some people people have got an expectation that people just give their time to a charity event, and that isn't always possible, especially if you're getting big stars and stuff like that, or like, you know, Tubbo. Tubbo doesn't want to necessarily give up his fucking income or whatever, right? And wants a purse, right? Okay? And the thing is, I don't think people are saying that people need to give up their time like that. It's just this for-profit element that you're talking about is a seemingly, as far as I understand it, new addition that wasn't explained, and now we find out via a third party, so you've got to desperately fucking, you know, rationalize it. Whereas if you'd have said it at the start, people would just be like, yeah, that's what he said. That's how it was going to run. There's no issue or concern then. It does sound like, to be fair, it does sound like a communication issue. But this is why the public backlash, beyond obviously the fucking Ethan Hassan retard war, which this is now wrapped up in, the lack of transparency, I think you can reasonably take issue with.
To put on a boxing event costs a lot of money, and even in other examples like GDQ, Games Done Quick is a charity event, but they're not like a charity themselves. You know, they run a business and they partner with a charity and they fundraise for the charity. They send people to the charity, and thankfully they have, you know, multiple ways of being paid and paying the people who are running the show. That might be through payment from the charity.
Okay, what is this?
Jayla Ray. I love the Beatles, and I also love boxing. For those of you that don't know, I'm going to be boxing in Creator Clash 3 in Tampa, Florida this June 28th. I'm very excited. You can grab your tickets now. In-person tickets are on sale, and pay-per-view tickets are on sale as well. You can go grab pay-per-view tickets now. All proceeds from this event are going to Stand Up to Cancer. So go ahead.
Right. But it's not all proceeds if there's a business element. There's a separate fundraising element, and that goes to charity. But some proceeds will inevitably get reinvested back for these costs that you've got then. Right, okay. Okay, right. Even if I'm willing to be gracious enough to grant that this is a misspeak, okay? You cannot have this kind of misspeak with a fucking charity event. What are you on about, dude? Your T's need to be crossed. Your I's need to be dotted. Everyone needs to be singing from the same hymn sheet. Also, when was this recorded? Is this about the event when Idubbbz was involved, or is this the new event? That's the only other thing that I need to confirm. I'm guessing it's from before, which is why they're using this clip now, but I obviously don't know. I don't know when this was recorded. New event, old event. Well, the thing is, what's the purpose in sharing it if it's about the new event unrelated to Idubbbz?
Pay-per-view tickets now. All proceeds from this event are going to Stand Up to Cancer. So go ahead and stand up to cancer with me and punch it in its ugly. I love the Beatles, and I also love boxing. For those of you that don't know, I'm going to be boxing in Creator Clash 3 in Tampa, Florida.
Oh. Tampa, Florida, and now it's in LA. So this is in relation to the old event that Idubbbz was involved in. Right, okay. Right, yeah. So that's why they shared it. Yeah. Well, that's misleading then. And even if you want to say it's their fuck up, like, dude, you need to fucking have it straight and present it correctly so that people know what's going on. So there's people out there shilling it on the basis of all proceeds going to charity even, and are saying that explicitly. And now you're finding out there's some sort of business element to it. I mean, this is just, you know, this is, I mean, to be fair, I do think this is more so an issue of communication rather than something nefarious happening, okay? I don't think there's like nefarious money grubbing happening here. I think this is just absolutely atrocious communication. And it should have been made clear way earlier what was going on here. This is like absurd. That only now, after they're no longer involved, they're fucking saying this and explaining it properly. Don't give them the credit. Okay, right. I'm not going to stand for any retarded fucking low IQ commentary narrative shit. Okay? I don't fucking care about your gay fucking commentary chatter perspective. Right? I'm not going to sit here and take a bunch of retarded shit from idiot. One guy's in chat, right? I don't believe this is a malice thing. I find it hard to believe that fucking Idubbbz and Anissa are there fucking, oh yeah, we're going to take money from cancer patient kids, right? This is sheer, unrepentant, ridiculous incompetence and terrible communication as far as I can see, okay? That seems like the far more reasonable, correct read. Yeah, gross incompetence rather than malice seems like the far more reasonable read of this. Okay? It's not giving them credit. It's about reasonably assessing what the circumstances are here. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and fucking go, yeah, they're clearly fucking... This is gross incompetence rather than trying to scam charity. Okay?
Charity, that might be through their own like Twitch stream or merchandise. I just know that for a charity boxing event in the form of Creator Clash, there aren't too many ways to recoup your money.
He still hasn't seen the H3 video, and nor will I, because I don't fucking care. You don't need to watch the H3 video to understand what's going on here. It's very fucking obvious and clear.
Other than ticket sales. And that was obviously the biggest challenge of the previous two events. When it does well, awesome. But when it doesn't, it's a huge problem. It remains to be seen whether the for-profit business...
Right, what was that?
merchandise. I just know that for a charity boxing event in the form of Creator Clash, there aren't too many ways to recoup your money other than ticket sales. And that was obviously the biggest challenge of the previous two events. When it does well, awesome. But when it doesn't, it's a huge problem. It remains to be seen whether the for-profit business side of the event will be successful. But the main controversy, I would say, is that
they said they agreed to profit share because they didn't think the event would do well, and we're going to donate our share after. I don't know, seems sus. Yeah, I mean, you know, if there's some evidence of some malice or something, or some sort of malfeasance, sure, I could consider that. But to me, it just reads more as terrible communication and gross incompetence.
That it was revealed with the change of ownership that Anissa and I, because we're 1/3 ownership of Creator Clash the business, that we were getting 34% of the profit share. We weren't anticipating this event doing well. Like, we wanted...
Are we a hate... Okay, Mweb. Dude, your chatters like you used to have to get banned. I cannot stand you sides cucked retards. It is honestly so obnoxious. I do not fucking care about your gay sides cucked analysis, okay? I don't have any perspective of sides cuckness on this. It's just, what is the truth of the situation? I think that guy was moaning earlier, wasn't he? Oh yeah, dude. He was moaning about me not covering the fucking H3 stuff. And then I start covering it and he just wants me to just do a side scut analysis. Fuck off. Get out my channel.
To do well enough to pay back the investors, of course. So that's one of the reasons that we were, you know, okay with the profit share thing. But another part of it as well is
if you genuinely think me calling these two grossly incompetent but unlikely malicious is defending them, right? I don't know how you draw air into your lungs with the fucking brain power that you've got. That is just absurd. It's totally fucking absurd. I'm obviously not defending them. I'm saying that I don't believe, based on the information I've got, that you can attribute a level of malice that would be like a charity scam or something like that. Incompetence is a far more reasonable read on this. Anyway, moving on.
The contract wasn't structured in a way that the profit share could just directly go to charity. It was told to us, like, you could just donate your portion of the profit share to charity after the event. So we were like, okay, fine. Now, I know some people will find it hard to believe that Anissa and I were just going to give our portion of the profit share to charity. There's nothing I could really say to, I think, convince them otherwise.
I mean, that is just going to come down to your view of Idubbbz's, like, you know, virtue or credibility or something, you know. I think he probably would have done. I don't believe this idea. I mean, you know, I do. To be fair, I really don't like Anissa. Okay, I do find it harder with Anissa because I really don't fucking like that bitch. But at least with Idubbbz, I can say confidently that yes, he likely would have donated it.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
Chud, thoughts on the new state of play? You hyped for any games?
I haven't seen it. Thank you for the super chats. Don't know what it is, but thank you.
Okay, that's wonderful. But how do I make money off depressed people?
In my opinion, they got carried away with wanting to make this a big stream event and lost focus on the charity aspect. They were inept.
Thank you for the $5. I don't think they would try and do a trash third time on incompetence alone. Okay, but just think that through for a second. If Creator Clash 2 wasn't successful and no money went to charity, why would they bother trying to do it again? Because there'd be no money to embezzle, would there? If it was unsuccessful. It doesn't make any sense, bro. It's clearly a fucking ego thing. They were egotistical. They wanted to show that they could do it, and they tried to structure it in a certain way. They're incompetent and communicated it very, very poorly, retardedly, to the point where fighters are saying all proceeds went to charity, which doesn't seem to be true. Gross incompetence is the far more likely explanation for this. That's the end of it.
It was up to our discretion at the end of the day, and if you don't believe us, I can't say anything that'll change your mind. I guess my only appeal is that Year 1, we made a bunch of money for charity, and I just got the fighters' pay like everyone else. In Year 2 of the event, we definitely got nothing. So yeah, having said all of this, I know that there's probably a lot of you out there who honestly don't care, and you're just like, you want to see boxing, or you just want to see regular videos. I get that. For my soul, I needed to communicate it So yeah, that's a big relief for me. I mean, I'm very happy that, you know, this year money is being raised for charity.
Yeah, dude, Flavortown makes a good point. Them being completely incompetent is also way... Yeah, dude, that's true as well. It is funny to think that despite having run 2 charity events, they're so incompetent that they didn't think they need to mention that, you know, there is a business component and lay that out explicitly so people knew.
And I'm glad to know that it's already more successful than than year 2. Mission accomplished, as far as I'm concerned.
I responded to his personal attack with a joke, and then he hit me with a concern troll.
From the right, there's a lot of concern trolling around small businesses.
This is the most boring kind of concern trolling.
Get Snoop Dogg and Tupac
concern troll.
Concern trolling.
You need to address this issue, man, because you are offending the trans community. Shut up.
That is such poor concern trolling.
Lindsey Graham did a lot of concern trolling about this.
His concern trolling is empirically wrong.
Oh, dude, this is like the hardest concern trolling I've ever heard of.
Yo, the Felcher himself, plugged up. Let's go.
My entire life, dude.
You don't answer to the concern.
We got 2 of the Trinity. We got 2 of the Trinity. Can we get the 3rd?
Trolls.
Concern trolling about homeless people.
This guy's an example of a concern troll.
Concern trolling about fairness.
They sit on the sidelines and they concern troll.
It's basically concern trolling.
There's a lot of people do concern troll.
Concern trolling.
As concern trolling.
Concern troll.
Concern troll. Concern trolling.
Concern trolling.
Concern trolling.
Quintessential concern troll.
That was some expert concern trolling.
Yes.
Do you think this is a plug up his ass? Styler, you're sick, bro. A cat or a carrot. Sorry, I didn't see. The emote didn't load in. My apologies, Stylo. You weren't asking whether Destiny had a butt plug inserted into his anus.
That's wonderful.
It was actually
But
a
how do I make
carrot.
money off depressed people.
Everywhere I go, I can't escape the Trinity. Hashtag R.
No, I think we're going to be okay, guys. Don't worry. Don't worry, guys. 2 of the 3's fine. Thank you very much for the super chat. Oh.
I've been working on my laugh lately. I'm trying to get it to a level where it's contagious. I haven't figured it out. I'll let you guys know when I figure it out. Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Idubbbz Complains. In the last couple of videos, I got a lot of comments. Now I don't have time to read all 150,000 comments, but I also don't want to let down my audience, you know? I want them to know that I hear you. I hear your concerns and I'm listening. I've put all 150,000.
Bro, I'm a bit worried that this is going to be a one where my take is just ignore. I hate saying it because it's like I say it all the time. But yeah, I mean, obviously you just need to ignore pretty much everything that people say on the internet about you. Have a group of people that you trust to say things to you that put you on the straight and narrow. You know, other than that, don't fucking worry about what these people say.
1,000 comments into the
Ignore the carrot posters. I don't know what this carrot thing is, but sure. Ignore the carrot posters, yes.
AI, and I told it to condense it down into a singular comment.
Well, I mean, chat is, you know, as you know, I struggle with that. I struggle to ignore chat. I mean, chat is a different kettle of fish. It's supposed to be like the one aspect of stream is chat engagement, so you can't ignore chat unless you're like locked into a video game and you're very good at it. Then you can make an excuse. And I obviously am terrible. If that was the best thing to do, I'd be fucking terrible at it anyway. But I'm just talking about, you know, people that come and leave comments because, you know, DK is very annoying with this, because he always sends me annoying messages, dude.
Mighty Douche Bro became a member.
Thank you, Cheese G's, for the 10 gifted, you legend. Thank you, appreciate that.
How do I make money off depressed people?
Drank Zero Bex became a member.
We'll mute it though, because it will just list off all the names. Thank you for that. Right. You know, there's like a video that comes out and it's like, oh god, people are going to be annoying on this one, aren't they? Yeah, they're going to be annoying. And then DK sends me the most annoying comments he can possibly muster. But to be fair to him, to be absolutely fair to him, he does send some gems through as well, okay? So he sent me through. This is on the Golden One video. This is too good, bro. Muscle brown freaks of nature like this are literally never wrong, okay? And then there was a follow-up as well. His pre-workout is crushed African bones. So those are funny. Those are good. Very good. I would not have seen these if not for DK sending them to me. So that was good. But yeah, in all seriousness, I mean, maybe if you just made edited videos and it's your way of having audience engagement, maybe. But I think you should just do streams. Streams are a much healthier, nicer way to engage with your community if you just do edited videos. And you can do it in a way that is like, you know, more backwards and forwards. So, I don't know, man. I just, yeah. I'm obviously biased because I'm a streamer. But a lot of these comments that are left, particularly ones outside of your own community, aren't really worth looking at and really thinking about that much.
Comment that is representative of the whole. My hope is that the one comment will perfectly represent a small fragment of everyone in the audience, so everyone is equally happy. Okay, hold on a sec. So I'm kinda lost. Who's Hassan again? But hey, it's cool to see a content cop after all these years. Still, I gotta say, something feels different, man. Did we lose the plot somewhere? I miss the old days, but whatever. Keep doing you, I guess. Anyway, peace out. I'm gonna go rewatch some Filthy Frank now. I'm gonna be honest, I'm a big fan of the one comment because I feel like it perfectly encapsulates a comment from like a normie viewer who maybe watched you 5 years ago, but you know, they don't keep up with the drama or anything. When I first started my research on concern trolling, I was trying to find scholars on the topic. I know it hasn't been around for that long, but I'm like, surely there's someone who is well versed in the art of the troll.
He's mastered that art of trolling.
To my surprise, the scholar on this topic is Anita Sarkeesian. Yeah, it's been almost a decade since like the Gamergate time.
Yeah, I'd heard, dude. Idubbbz referencing Gamergate in 2025. Wow, mark it off your bingo card, guys. I guess it depends really what he references. Because I don't think Anita Sarkeesian, I don't think everything she ever said was incorrect. It depends what he talks about here. But, yeah, let's see what he says.
And go figure, the white guy 8 years later is like, I think Anita Sarkeesian was kind of onto something. There was a lot of assholes on the internet, and they're kind of misogynistic too, I think. It's crazy what a little CTE or the love of a woman will do to you.
Unfortunately, that's not the only species of concern troll out there.
The most obvious definition for concern trolling is when someone is pretending to be concerned about a particular
really
subject or cause, when in reality, they don't give a fuck. They're just doing it to either get attention, start a...
Dude, honestly, my experience, the love of the woman, you actually want quite the opposite. Hatred of women is what fuels me, and that's why you watch me, guys. I mean, it's just that, you know, it comes across as very like, you know... Like, it feels like he's saying things like that specifically to fuck with people. And he wants people to, like, react super negatively to that and be like, yeah, Nisa fucking sucks, da-da-da-da. That's what it comes across like to me, so I'm just like, ugh, okay. I think that's the intention, to wind you up. And he wants someone to, like, freak out at that and get super mad about Anissa. And it's like, yeah, like, Anissa's a fucking retarded whore. Like, you know, I don't need to fucking... freak out about Idubbbz possibly trolling with something like that. Fuck wife guys, true.
Fight, derail a conversation. To be honest, it's very effective. Because back in the day, you could identify someone trolling pretty easily, and you can kind of scroll past it. They'd have a name like...
Thank you, Cheese Cheese, working, I hate him more. Well, it's backfired.
Shit is fuckus, and they would say fake and gay. But nowadays...
Yes, Stylo, get carroted, motherfucker. You just got carroted, bro. Unlucky. How'd you feel about that?
It feels like the average troll is going to give you a paragraph or two, and you will not be able to identify straight away if someone is fucking with you or not. Do they hate me? Are they making a point here? Should I rethink my behavior? What the fuck? It seems like they'll oftentimes give you their fan resume to like prove that they're not just some random hater, right? They're not a troll or a hater. They're a fan who's been supporting you since the...
See, it's difficult for me because it's like I'm sure there's lots of annoying... Like, I know what people can be like. And I'm sure there are people like this that are annoying. That are like, you know... oh, I'm a former fan of yours and you've really fucked me over by making this video. So it's like, I can't really, you know, like, yeah, sure. I'm sure there's people that are like that. I just, you know, I mean, it's like, I don't really have much to say except, well, yeah, just if they're annoying, delete them from your channel, ignore them or something like that. It's just, you know, there is obviously commentary that you can have about Idubbbz changing. For me personally, I was never like a massive Idubbbz fan. I just feel like, you know, I commented on this 2 years ago when it happened. That, oh yeah, he's become a fucking retarded loser. Do you know what I mean? It's like just banging the same drum at this point. And, you know, particularly, and it was funnier back then as well, because it wasn't, you know, this stupid forever retard war that it was framed around. It was like, he was going on the stream as some black woman. I nearly said a slur then. He went on the stream as some black woman, like self-fucking flagellating, going, oh, I'm so sorry for saying the N-word all those years ago. You know, that to me was funny to talk about. But now it's just like, yeah, he's changed. I know that already. And if someone is like going into his comments to point that out, it's like, yeah, that's kind of lame, I guess. I don't know. I just don't really have much thoughts on it. It's just like, he probably is pointing out something that's, yeah, there's annoying fans, but okay. Ignore it or delete it, I guess. I don't know.
Starter crap era. They've been supporting you since you made a NFT of your ball sack. I've been subscribed since the Overgrowth Let's Plays. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to more Overgrowth.
You know, it's like in 2025, you should be well aware that Idubbbz has changed. So I just don't really see the value in going into his comment section and being like, you've changed, man. Man, you've really changed. You've really changed, bro. Yeah, we knew this years ago when he made his video talking about how he didn't want to be known for being the N slur, F slur guy anymore. Like, yes, we get it. You know? So I couldn't imagine going in and like leaving a comment. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of I guess done with it. I worry, am I being a bit unfair? Because I fucking, you know, I was making these points a couple of years ago. But then it's like, you know, but there was funny stuff happening for me that was worth like talking about, like the going on this black people stream. That was actually like hilarious that happened, you know? So I don't know, it just feels like now it's just like such a belabored point. It's not even worth really making it anymore. You know? I don't know. Maybe you feel differently. Maybe you feel differently. No, I don't think he's I don't think he's being trolled all the time. I don't think he's being trolled all the time. I think there are probably still people that want to do the whole, I'm a big fan of you and you've changed. And it's like, you're 2 years too late. That's my overall take on this. Unless you're trying to troll him and trying to fuck with him. You're 2 years too late to this, really. You should have fucking come round when he was talking to that fucking black woman, self-flagellated for saying the N-word when he was younger.
I want to say that this video really missed the mark. Hope that you can do better. Hope that you can do better is such a great thing to say. It's like, you're a piece of shit. Part of the reason I want to share this is because I know there are a lot of creators out there who have to deal with this on a regular basis. They have to be the ones to differentiate between authentic and inauthentic. And a lot of the time you just gotta fucking flip a coin or just ignore it outright. And it's really easy to say like, I would handle that really well because my policy is to not give a shit about any of it. But obviously, if you do...
Okay. So he is saying that you should just ignore it. Well, that's what I would say about this, so okay.
Have to deal with this on a regular basis. They have to be the ones to differentiate between authentic and inauthentic. And a lot of...
Right, okay. Yeah, okay. Well, he's, you know, he's recognizing this. I mean, this is like, he's obviously... Dude, I don't fucking know, dude. He's obviously just like... venting about annoying people. He's putting improvisers there for they could be trolls. I don't have like a massive problem with this really.
A lot of the time you just gotta fucking...
But how do I make
Idubbbz bad, guys! Idubbbz bad! Don't forget Idubbbz bad.
But you've changed. Can you use your black avatar for old times' sake?
Thank you, Tyrone, for the 333. Appreciate it. Can we get some carrot posted in chat to placate the you know, very esteemed individuals who just want to hear how bad Idubbbz is?
flip a coin or just ignore it outright. And it's really easy to say, like, I would handle that really well because my policy is to not give a shit about any of it. But obviously, if you do want to have some sort of relationship with your audience or the internet in general, you do have to give some percentage of attention to what's being said online.
Okay, that I disagree with in terms of how he's framing that, right? Like, yes, you need to pay attention to some of it, but you should do it in a format where there's like some benefit to you. Like the idea that you'd sit there and read your fucking YouTube comments. I mean, look, maybe people have got a different view on this, right? I learned very early on that the only benefit, you're off so far on this. How so? What am I wrong about? Explain what I'm wrong about exactly. What do you think I'm wrong about? Rather than just say I'm off, try using your little, little brain there and explain what exactly I'm wrong about. But for me personally, I mean, I just don't really think there's much value in reading YouTube comments. And all that you're really doing, like, people that leave YouTube comments, especially as you can't discern whether they're trolling or not, and this is going to seem quite hypocritical when I say what I say after this, it's kind of worthless, and it's not really good engagement in any way that benefits you or helps you improve or helps you, get better. And I think that a live stream chat is far better. Yes, obviously, I get trolled, I get one guide, I get that. But the live backwards and forwards interaction, I just think is far more valuable than just reading someone that's just come along. Because people are actually investing time and effort in engaging with your content if they're going to sit there and watch a stream. And I think that's going to bring about much more valuable contributions than, than just like trying to get something from whatever the fuck some shitter in YouTube comments has said,
That's going to be different for everyone. Now, some people might be worried that I'm giving new strategies to all the trolls out there. But don't worry, they already know these strategies. This is kind of like I think this is in all of us, right? Like, if you want some attention, you're going to figure out a way to get the attention. If you want to fuck with people, you'll figure out how to fuck with people. This isn't like some secret sauce, really. There's a few different strategies of dealing with concerned trolls. You can obviously, try to look into their post history, and if they don't come across as credible, if all their post history is wiped, then you can just say, I'm gonna err on the side of you're trolling me. When I listen to Tim Pool, he has like a little bit of a theory on, the left versus right and who.
Okay. See, this is, dude, this is what I mean. Like, sometimes you guys, you carrot posters, you come into this and you've got a bias and that colors all of your view on it. He's clearly not saying that all criticism is just concern trolling. Right? He's obviously specifying a particular type of comment. He's not saying all criticism is concern trolling. Where is he saying that? I've obviously got some issues with the Creator Clash stuff, and I've got a couple of issues here and there of what he said. But as a broad stroke of talking about like this idea of concern trolling, especially with the proviso that he believes you should ignore a lot of it and so on, this is like fine. I like what is actually like, but rather than just say you're off on this, what am I missing here? What should I be, pointing out that is like tremendously wrong here?
Who is doing more concern trolling?
The right has their concern trolls, but it's rare. It rarely happens. On the left, it's endless because people like Patton Oswalt don't care about principle.
See, look, there we go. DK. Yes, DK. Legitimate comment. Yeah, see? Good job, DK. Well done, mate. Well done. This is getting dangerously close to Breadtube video essay about right-wing tactics. Yes. See? Beautiful. I agree, DK. I hadn't actually thought about that, but that's a good point. Yeah, it is. He has definitely become the sort of Breadtube guy. Definitely. Cool.
Now, I don't fully buy into what Tim Pool is selling here. You can kind of look at the political spectrum as like a spectrum of concern, and people on the left seem to be generally more concerned than people on the right.
Oh my god, no way, there we go. Now we're getting to the content. Now we've got a bit of fucking trans now. Now we're talking, guys. Let's go. Let's go. DK knew what was coming. Pre-watched? Pre-watched? This is a fucking Breadtube video about right-wing tactics. Boom! There it is.
About a bit of a theory on, the left versus right and who is doing more concern trolling.
The right has their concern trolls, but it's rare. It rarely happens. On the left, it's endless because people like Patton Oswalt don't care about principle.
Now, I don't fully buy into what Tim Pool is selling here. You can kind of look at the political spectrum as like a spectrum of concern, and people on the left seem to be generally more concerned than people on the right.
Bro, it's just so interesting that the way he's framing this left-right paradigm is he's taking like the lefty pet issue, right? And being like, look how concerned, it's almost like, look how nice the lefties are and look how horrible the righties are. The left just want trans people to belong and the righties are saying no. It's so fucking sidecucked, bro. And you could do exactly the same thing. Yes, DK. Yes, exactly. You could flip this around, okay? And you could do this so the right look like the good guys here, right? You could have a completely sidecucked analysis in the other direction, and you could talk about how the right are trying to protect women's rights and the left are saying no, we don't want to protect women's rights. You could make the same framing in the other direction. This is the problem with this sides-cut mentality, rather than just accept that there's potentially good or bad ideas on either side and there's potential ways you can frame things to make one side look good and the other side look bad and vice versa.
You could say that people on the right are mostly concerned about themselves. That might be like a fair assessment. If you
What? Dude, is that... What? That is obscene. He's just suggesting that the right... what? Is he making that as an example? Does he actually mean that?
As like Tim Pool is selling here, you can kind of look at the political spectrum as like a spectrum of concern, and people on the left seem to be generally more concerned than people on the right. You could say that people on the right are mostly concerned about themselves. That might be like a fair assessment. If you're...
No, okay. That's not fair. God, please don't give me your fucking lib-cucked retarded takes on this, okay? The right and the left, you can argue, are equally concerned with others, but they often have a different perspective or idea about how to get there, okay? Here's an example of this. When it comes to someone is in need, how do you support them, okay? Both the right and the left are concerned with how you support that individual, but they go about it in a different fashion. I'm making it very simple for carrot posters, okay? Libtard carrot posters now, okay? On the right, they will propose that they're supported via community charity, as an example, right? By voluntary community charity, and they will hope that there's enough people that think like them that they'll be supported out of their circumstances and they'll be able to move forward, okay? Whereas on the left, as a general rule of thumb, the idea is that you would tax everyone at a lower rate perhaps than the charity aspect, and then you use the funds that you earn from that taxation to support them via government. I'm keeping it very simple. I know it's a bit more complicated than that, okay? But there's an example where both the right and the left are concerned with someone else, but they've got a different vision of how they help that person out, okay? It is completely false to claim that the right are more concerned about themselves, okay? It is like a broad brush fucking stroke that you're making because you don't really want to engage with or understand what a potential right-wing ideology is proposing and how it could actually facilitate the same outcome, just coming at it from a different perspective or a different angle. And I just think that is so pathetic, wretched, and Breadtube coded, like fucking DK said, right? It's this idea that the right are all just hateful and only care about themselves, which isn't true. And also, it's like, there's hateful people across the entirety of the fucking political spectrum, okay? There's fucking lefties that are full of hate as well, right? It's about an individual behavior, an anti-socialness that one could have versus a broad political ideology and what you're looking to achieve. and how different approaches could achieve the same outcome, like the example of someone being in need, you know?
Or somewhere over here where Tim Pool's at, all you gotta do to concern troll him is take one step to the left. That's it. I think concern trolling is in the eye of the beholder. With this example, you have Tim Pool thinking that Patton Oswalt is being concern trolled by his audience, or a portion, maybe like a small segment of people.
This is what happens when you fall for this stuff. Patton Oswalt falls for it. He is a weak man.
But Patton Oswalt doesn't...
Okay, well, what
Patton...
Unless I've missed it, I don't really understand what is the crux of the issue here. What is happening? I saw a friend I hadn't seen in a long time this New Year's Eve. We've known each other since we're teens. He's a fellow comedian. I wanted to post a pic on Instagram, so I did. The friend is Dave Chappelle. 34 years we've been friends. He's refocused. Carrot ass take from Idubbbz. Bro,
Okay,
Idubbbz needs to stop posting carrot ass takes right now.
Swaffle Smurf became a member. Swaffle Smurf celebrates 2 months of membership. I feel disgust when I see EN. Just pure disdain and disgust.
Thank you for the membership. Swaffle Smurf. Sounds a bit Nazi coded, but thank you. 34 years, focused on fine planet Earth. We've done batting of gigs. But we also 100% disagree about transgender rights and representation. Right, okay. Sorry, I mean, the way Idubbbz is presenting this is I've got to fucking agree with Patton Oswalt doing virtue signal
Leah
trans
something
shit.
became
right?
a member. Leah something celebrates 8 months of membership. Carrot emoji, carrot emoji, carrot emoji.
Thank you for the membership. I mean, is this concern trolling? I don't know if I'd even call it concern trolling, but like, I'm not going to support this. Some screed making sure everyone knows that you think trans people are great, actually, despite being friends with fucking, you know, Dave Chappelle. No, thank you. Incredibly homosexually coded behavior.
Oswalt falls for it. He is a weak man.
But Patton Oswalt doesn't feel that way. You know, he sees it as authentic concern, which is why he addresses it in this Instagram post. By the way, the concern is basically just people...
Well, hang on. How can you discern that this is legitimate? I mean, the best you can say is like, you don't really know for 100%. But the way this is worded, it comes across to me like he's very much trying to like hit the button that he's pro-trans people, despite being friends with them. Wait, what is this, dude? Oh, bro, that's so funny, dude. Normally, I don't like DK fiddling with me, but this time, the fiddling is consensual. Dude, that is so funny. Can I put that as the other titles too? Yes, I can do it. Let's go. He's just added a carrot emoji to the end. I don't even know what the fucking carrot... I don't even know what that means. I got no clue where that comes from. Clueless. Could be some racist fucking, you know, dog whistle for all I know. Okay. Yeah, dude, I don't know what Patton Oswalt was thinking here. I just think that that this, to me, it reads way more like a post he spat out in order to simultaneously signal pro-trans views whilst also addressing the fact he's friends with Dave Chappelle. And from like a professional comedian, this comes across as extremely egregious behavior when the correct response should just be like, I'm friends with them, like you ignoring it ideally, or I'm friends with who I'm friends with, obviously don't agree with everyone and everything, that's the end of it. But he's done this long overall post about how much he loves trans people. It's pathetic.
Or uncomfortable with his association with Dave Chappelle because Dave Chappelle did some transphobic or said some transphobic shit. But Tim Pool has such a fucking low emotional IQ that he doesn't realize it isn't a big deal to listen to what other people are saying and like adjust your behavior. It's all up to our own fucking discretion.
But wait, what behavior is Patton Oswalt adjusting exactly? Being friends with Dave Chappelle. I mean, unless I'm missing something, what did Patton Oswalt even do that he needed to address? Wasn't he just friends with someone that told some edgy jokes and probably believed a lot of it, don't get me wrong, about trans people? Dude, oh my God, dude. I didn't realize how much fun this is going to be to talk about this, and it was going to get into this, right? Trans is like the verboten comedy topic, right? And you have got edgy comedians like, what's his name? The Scottish guy. What's a Scottish comedian called that's super edgy? He did a joke about Jordan's son being blind or something. You know who I'm talking about? Carrot Top. No. Right? He does all these edgy jokes. He told this... Yeah, Frankie Boyle, right? He told this deranged, funny in my opinion, this totally deranged and obscene joke about Jordan's son, who's like half black, disabled and blind, right? And it was like... It caused this massive fucking controversy. I don't think he ever apologized for it. I think he doubled down on it, right? But he has got like this perspective that you just can't joke about trans people, right? And even if you're like a pro-trans person, surely there's some material there. Surely there's some material you can go off to mock some of the deranged shit that you see and hear about when it comes to some of this trans shit, you know? It's like... You can't think of anything. I'm not saying you have to make jokes about it, but it's this and you know, this anti-perspective. Like you can. It's not just like I'm not going to make jokes about it personally because I find it a bit distasteful. It's being critical of others who do make jokes. It is thinking badly of people that do decide to make jokes about trans people. You know, the fact that Dave Chappelle set caused as much outrage as it did is bizarre. Like he's a an edgy comedian making jokes about a group of people, community, that have got some jokes to be made about them. Like any fucking community, marginalized or not, you know? I can't recall exactly what he said. But it wasn't anything like it's not like he was calling for the death of the X, Y, and Z person or anything violent. It was just like jokes around the trans topic that at the time obviously were a bit more kind of like controversial to say, I guess, amongst progressives. But yeah, I think it was pretty funny. It wasn't even that crazy. I remember thinking it was funny at the time, and being kind of surprised at how mild it was in comparison to how everyone was reacting. You know.
Right? Transphobic or said some transphobic shit. But Tim Pool has such a fucking low emotional IQ that he doesn't realize it isn't a big deal to listen to what other people are saying and like adjust your behavior.
Anyway, going back to this. What behavior specifically are we talking about being adjusted? Because as far as I can see, all he was friends with Dave Chappelle. What did Patton Oswalt even do? I don't think he himself was joking about trans issues. So was it just like addressing the fact that he was friends with Dave Chappelle because people were upset about that? Well, it seems like they were unreasonable for being upset with him for being friends with a comedian that tells certain jokes they didn't like.
It's all up to our own fucking discretion, right? Like if you aren't to the point, Tim, where, you don't want to apologize for fucking anything, which by the way, it seems like that's a theme on your podcast.
Well, hang on a sec. There's reasonable things that you might want to apologize for. Oh, dude, I'm going to have to read that post, bro. I'm going to have to read it because what is he fucking apologizing for? It's making it sound like there was actually something reasonable that he was apologizing for. Trans post. For fuck's sake, dude. I've got it here. This is the original. Here we go. Let's have a look. Why is it so small? It's so small. I saw a friend I hadn't seen in a long time this New Year's Eve. We've known each other since we were teens. He's a fellow comedian, the funniest I've ever met. I wanted to post a pic and Instagram story about it, so I did. The friend is Dave Chappelle. 34 years we've been friends. He refocused and refined ideas a lot of us took as settled about race and history and life on planet Earth and spun them around with a phrase or a punchline. We've done bad and good gigs, open mics and TV tapings, but we also 100% disagree about transgender rights and representation. I support trans people's rights, anyone's right to live safely in the world as their fullest selves. For all the things he's helped me evolve on, I'll always disagree with where he stands now on transgender issues. But I also don't believe a seeker like him is done evolving, learning. You know someone that long, see the struggles and changes, it's impossible to cut them off. Impossible not to be hopeful and open and cheer them on. Also, I've been carrying a lot of guilt about friends I've cut off who had views with which I couldn't agree or changed in ways I couldn't live with. Sometimes I wonder, did I and others cutting them off make them dig their heels in deeper, fuel their ignorance with a nitro boost of resentment and spite? I'm an LGBTQ ally, I'm a loyal friend. There's friction in those traits that I need to reconcile myself and not let cause feels a betrayal in anyone else. And I'm sorry, truly sorry that I didn't consider the depth that this would cause or the depth of that hurt. I've been messaging a lot of Instagram today and the back and forth has really helped guide me in the writing of this. I naively deleted a lot of posts in the comment thread, critical ones from LGBTQ writers and shitposts by TERF anti-trans orgs looking for clicks and giggles. I wanted a nice comment thread about the pic with my friend. So easy to think someone else needs growth and miss the need in yourself. Going to keep trying. Okay. So what is he... Like, what is... He's apologised for what? Deleting things? Cutting people off or something? It's just kind of like... a bit indiscernible. Like, it just comes across... Like, this just comes across to me like he's putting out a statement to try and placate, you know, in a way, all sides of this. Like, the pro-Dave Chappelle people and the trans people. And this picture of him... I mean, what... I'm a bit bemused because I'm like, well, what is he actually doing here? And I don't seem to think he's doing something.
Patton Oswalt only cares about trans issues because he looks like a lesbian.
Thank you for the $3, Picklington. Like, there's not really much to go off here. It's just like, he just seems to be putting out a very bland statement to, in some ways, placate all sides. Like, what behaviour is he changing here after listening to people? There's not really anything to go off here. I mean, it's just a bit, you know, I'm sure that Tim Pool zhuzhed it up and made a massive meal out of it and it didn't need to be. It just comes across as a bit pathetic to me. This guy seems a bit like a fucking pathetic loser.
Okay, that's wonderful. But
that's
how do
it.
I make
That's
money
the end of it, you know?
off depressed people?
Thank you for the super chat. Look up Oswald's alter ego Quibble Pants. Okay. Thank you for that.
Is basically saying, like, I'm not a problem. But acting like that's the way the rest of the world needs to operate, it's like, I think Patton Oswalt is doing just fine operating the way he's operating.
Wallow in it. Okay, Patton Oswalt? Never tell an offensive joke again. Never cross the line again. Good luck trying to figure out where that line is. Good luck. You won't find it. You give in.
I mean, yeah, like, Tim Pool is going to make a meal out of this and go overboard with it, right? Like, yes. But I think there is some truth in that. Now, what I mean is that, yeah, where is the line then? Because Patton Oswalt is criticising Dave Chappelle for telling jokes, which probably he believes some of what he was saying, but like fundamentally telling jokes. Well, what is the what can you and can't you joke about then? If trans people are out of bounds, what else by that logic is out of bounds? Or you just say anything's okay to joke about, and if you don't like it, you can switch off or say you don't like it and go about your fucking business. Like, why is Patton Oswalt feeling the need to fucking do apologetics for someone else's jokes to be? It's stupid.
To the concerned trolls, and you will never work again.
It's so fucking funny, too, because Patton Oswalt has been doing comedy.
See, that's the thing why I disagree that it's like... I don't... Like, concern troll, to me, suggests that, like, they're not really that bothered. Concern, you're pretending to be concerned in order to troll them. Unless I'm missing something. That seems to be my way of, like, looking at it. But I think the people that are coming at Patton Oswalt, they do care about it, but they unreasonably care about it. Like, you shouldn't care that Patton Oswalt is friends with fucking Dave Chappelle. That's absurd. That's not your fucking business. You know? I wouldn't call that concern trolling, really. So I think Tim Pool's, you know, retarded to frame it like that. But in terms of a conversation about what's happening there, I mean, I'm not going to agree with Patton Oswalt making some bland statement about his friendship with Dave Chappelle because a bunch of retards on the internet are mad at him. That's stupid. But Idubbbz is presenting it like Patton Oswalt is like the reasonable one in this situation. It doesn't seem like that to me.
Comedy since Tim Pool was in fucking diapers. What the fuck are we talking about? Can we please, like, I don't know. It feels like people like Tim Pool love to appeal to, like, authority all the time. In this scenario, can we please appeal to authority or acknowledge that this guy has tremendous authority over you in the world of comedy?
Unless you think comedy is saying, like, I went to a Jewish bakery the other day. They had bagels. Really good, really good, really impressed with it. That's the comedy you're headed for. That's the joke South Park made. And even South Park has started pulling its punches. Let me tell you about the real world, my friends. Get woke, go broke.
One of the reasons that I'm bringing this up is because
I don't watch South Park anymore. Is that true? I thought they were still pretty aggressively going at whatever side necessary.
after the content cop, I noticed a huge influx of concern trolls. They're trying to impact things in the real world. They're trying to, you know, make people crash out, as I was kind of indicating in my video. But I will say, one of the concern trolls was super fucking obvious to me. They came into the Discord. I'll read you what they put so you can kind of get a vibe for what a concern troll might sound like.
Okay, dude. I mean, okay. Discord is literally the worst place for retards. So I just wouldn't ever waste my time with that personally. But okay, let's hear them out.
Now this comment is in reference to me saying that
Listen, if you're worried about Discord retards, right? My server's full of them. They're fucking all over the place. Everywhere. Every fucking oozing out of every orifice you could imagine. You know? General Chat's got their own brand, and so has Spicy Chat. Different sides of the same retard coin.
I think he needs a good ass whooping. What are we saying? He needs a hug? No, he doesn't need a hug. He needs a good fucking ass whooping is what he needs. They say, just being for real, this line in the video was pretty strange. Red flag number 1. At worst, it's a call for physical assault. At best, it's very toxic masculinity-esque. It just comes across as parody, right?
I mean, like, yeah, this guy sounds like... This does sound like a concern troll, I guess, but... I guess for the purpose of proving a point, and he's pointing this out, sure.
Best, it's very toxic masculinity-esque. It just comes across as parody, right?
Like, there is a particularly pernicious homosexual behavior that people do. Where it's like... I did skim through this a bit, and I think Destiny comes up. Is this guy a Destiny fan, maybe, or something? But anyway, it's like acting like you care about stuff like that. You know? And I think there probably is a point to make about, okay, so someone's professed values don't align with what they're saying. Like, if you want to make that argument, that point, sure. Maybe I'm just a bit bored of it, because it's something that comes up quite a lot. But, like, yeah, I don't know. Seems a bit like a trite point at this stage. But, yeah, sure, this guy sounds like a concerned troll in Discord. Okay.
This was literally no one's concern ever. He needs a good fucking ass whooping is what he needs. Either way, it doesn't seem to align with Ian's mentality towards being more progressive and against harassment. You see what I mean? It's trying to like insert like a little seed of doubt. Whoa, you might have been irresponsible here. You might need to take accountability for what you've put out on the internet. Never mind the point that you were making in the video. I think you need to repent for your call to violence. I don't think any creator should make that kind of statement unless they have a very good reason to do so, morally speaking. Because you never know what one of your fans might do. It's quite dangerous. I mean, to someone who hasn't been through the ringer of concern trolling, I'm sure this could, like, upset or confuse someone, but this is just fucking drivel. I honest to God just think his vid and the whole intention would have been better without...
Oh, hey, Russell Weebs. How's it going? You nonce. They are literally using his words against him and he is mad. Are they? Is this his own words then? I don't... Okay.
That in it. I don't see why he said that. Ugh. Of course, this is a new user to our Discord, so no post history. So we gotta get creative. You reverse search the username and you find that they have a Twitter. Their Twitter is suspended. The Blue Sky account, though, has tweets.
Oh! Here he is. A login Discord detractors. Oof.
like, so how long until Destiny gets banned from this app? Hashtag DGG, hashtag Daliban, hashtag Destiny. Tankies are already terrified of arriving Daliban forces. Following back all liberals, hashtag DGG. Now the reason that these posts are...
I mean, this guy could legitimately be a fan of Destiny. What it sounds like more to me with the way those posts are worded are that he's just a fucking... like a sort of like baseless troll who just says whatever to wind people up, right? I don't think this guy is legitimately a Destiny fan. Because former Orbiter, hands
Destiny.
up.
Tankies are already
Former
terrified
Orbiter.
of arriving down.
I know how they act, I know how they look. I was one, for Christ's sake. But the kinds of people that are Destiny fans don't... This is like way too explicitly posted. Like, it would be a lot more like in, it would be a lot more in memes and stuff like that. I find it hard to believe that someone would go on... It sounds like he's just saying whatever is necessary to wind up the community that he's trying to fuck with, right? So going on to like Blue Sky and saying you're a Destiny fan, going into his Discord and saying this shit to him, he just sounds like a wind-up merchant. Do you know what I mean?
Picklington became a member. Picklington celebrates 18 months of membership. Searching for linked accounts to a troll is something Ethan would do. EHD.
Thank you, Picklington, for the membership. The thing is, you're saying about how he's trying to connect into Destiny to discredit him, right? I don't think that's what he's doing. He's saying that he's saying all this shit about me, but he's a Destiny fan, so he doesn't really care about it, right? I'm saying that's stupid to me, because this guy doesn't seem like a legitimate Destiny fan. This just feels like you're falling further for the troll, because I don't think he really is a fan of Destiny, and I think he's just saying this on Blue Sky to wind up Blue Sky users, and he's saying stuff to Ian to wind him up, because he knows that's going to get under his skin. Okay? So I don't think this is like a legitimate Destiny fan. Because I know what happens next. He shows a bunch of clips of Destiny saying insane shit. And it's like, yeah, but this works if he's an actual Destiny fan. But I don't think he is. I don't think he is a Destiny fan. I think he's fallen for this elaborate troll where he's just trying to like fuck with whatever community he's in front of, you know? And yes, yes, Kevin, exactly. If you're doing research on someone after a Discord message you lost, yes, exactly.
Taliban forces. Following back all liberals, hashtag DGG. Now the reason that these posts are relevant is because Destiny
didn't say anything insane. Okay. God. Lots of carrot posting today. Lots of carrot posting today, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? Right? It is insane to act like you care about soy things. Right? If you're a fan of Destiny. To soy out about stuff like this. Unless you're clearly making a point of not living your own principles or whatever. Right? To act like you care about this stuff is ridiculous. Because you can't possibly care about a lot of soy shit if you like Destiny. Because he's like the antithesis to soy posting. Right?
Is quite famous for saying very unhinged, offensive shit. And he doesn't really seem to care that much about it.
Don't pretend like you care about mental health or any of that cringe shit. Just be based. Tell people to kill themselves. Make fun of people who are on SSRIs. Make fun of people who have depression or anxiety or GD. Just do that.
Yes, Stylo gets it, exactly. Of course he does. Stylo, interestingly, sheds all his carrot posting mentality when Destiny comes up. Destiny fans have no right to complain about mean shit or death threats or unhinged comments. Exactly. That's the point. That's the point.
Embrace the I can't say the words on stream anymore. All the slurs and everything you use. You just do that. Go full in on it.
Now I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that I don't think this user is
That's not even the best clip. That's not. I don't know what the context or Destiny is saying there, but that's not even like the best clip to use. There's loads of clips of him saying way more unhinged shit than that. But yeah, I don't think this guy's a Destiny fan. I think he's fallen for this elaborate troll who just fucks with whatever platform he's on.
Actually worried about the language I'm using. I don't think that they're concerned about me being toxic masculinity-esque.
Make fun of people who are on SSRIs.
And I kind of don't think that they're worried about a call to violence. I actually think that they wouldn't mind me doing a call to violence.
Tell people to kill themselves.
They actually might even be encouraged by a call to violence, if I had to guess, you know. I can only speculate based on hashtag Daliban, which is just some racist Twitter group. Ultimately, concern trolling is just saying something.
Oh my god, dude. This hurts as a former orbiter. Daliban is not a racist Twitter. It might be the name of a racist Twitter group. Daliban is a self-referential meme that Destiny's community call themselves to reference the fact that people talk about them as if they're some sort of dissident Muslim fucking, you know, group that can fuck with people tremendously, to put it as in a simple way. Dude, it's like he doesn't even fucking know what's going on, dude. Bro. Anyway, this guy's the fucking Destiny fan. True Destiny fans would not fucking post like hashtag, oh, when's Destiny gonna get banned? Hashtag Daliban. He's just trying to fuck with Blue Sky users. It's so obvious, bro.
In bad faith. It's very similar to tone policing or sea lioning. But I didn't really want to talk about those because those feel different to me for some reason. Specifically sea lioning. That shit isn't even intuitive. You know, I've looked it up I think 3 times now and I still don't fucking... I mean, I get it. I just...
Bro. How right was DK? DK was so on the money about this. He took one look at this video and knew exactly what was going on. This is fucking Breadtube, fucking right-wing bad type shit. This is like classic Breadtube sea lining meme.
Sea lining. That shit isn't even intuitive. You know, I've looked it up I think 3 times now, and I still don't fucking...
Yeah, I've probably seen or heard about this from about fucking a billion lefties at this point. This sea lining shit.
I mean, I get it. I just can't recall it easily. So in my mind, that means it's stupid. It's not working. I can't bust it out in the middle of...
Sea lining is based on this comic that came out. I think this is the root of the meme, I'm pretty sure. And it's the idea that you make a statement that you're not that committed to, and then someone comes in and just relentlessly pursues you to have a debate about a topic you're not really that invested in, right? That's what this is. You can see here, the woman says, I don't mind most marine mammals, but sea lions, I could do without sea lions. Don't say that out loud. Pardon me, I couldn't help but overhear. Now you've done it. I would like to have a civil conversation about your statement. Would you mind showing me evidence of any negative thing any sea lion has ever done to you? Go away. There's no need to raise your voice. I'm right here. I'm just curious if you have any sources to back up your opinion. You're in my house. You made a statement in public for all to hear. Are you unable to defend the statements you make, or simply unwilling to have a reasoned discussion? Told you, dude. Sea lions. I've been unfailingly polite, and you two have been nothing but rude. I'm trying to eat breakfast. Very well. We shall resume in an hour. Basically like debate bro shit, right? He's just calling someone a debate bro, essentially. But it's like the specific behavior of relentlessly pursuing a debate that you're not even maybe interested in having to that level, you know? Yeah. Destiny fan. Aiden projects. This Aiden. You could use this to describe Aiden. Sure. Aiden is a good example of this. By the way, I can't show it on stream because it could be considered anti-Semitic. But I did reply to Aiden earlier today on a particular thing.
Oh, in my mind, that means it's stupid. It's not working. I can't bust it out in the middle of a heated argument and say, you're sea lining me. See? It's because you grew whiskers in the middle of this debate. That means you're sea lining me. You started flapping your arms and going, oh, oh, oh. Therefore, you are sea lining. I mean, there you go. It feels like 2 people getting into a shouting match is more an accurate descriptor of sea lining than whatever the fuck it is. I think the least problematic part of being a concern troll is them taking a moderate position, potentially. Because at that point, you're just being a party pooper. Or like a killjoy. A buzzkill. Like, we're familiar with these types of people. They're just constantly reeling people in because they're worried that they're using, like, too crazy a rhetoric or they're getting a little too excited, right? And I think we all could use people in our lives to, like, reel us in a bit. The aspect of concern trolling that bothers me the most is the role-playing aspect. There isn't really a lot of incentive to not be anonymous online. There are some people out there who've made the unconscious choice to be like, my online profile is just an extension of who I am.
Oh!
What
was saying was that?
Like my
no, okay. Oh, Wow. Are you telling me that Idubbbz, I mean, he did mention Hassan earlier, to be fair. And he did mention Destiny too. Are you telling me that he goes this whole video and Ethan Klein doesn't get brought up? Is that true? Dude, I'm anxious. I'm anxious. I feel like fucking Innuendo Studios right now. I'm very anxious.
Online profile is just an extension of who I am in the real world. And then there are all the people who consciously decide to stay anonymous. Now, for some of these people, it's just like, I want to be safe and I really don't want to take that plunge. Fair enough. But then there are the people who are like, not only am I not going to be myself, I'm going to be someone else. You know, I'm going to be someone else so that I could fuck with this community of
Shittis fuckis. 32 she they trans Trump fan in on his daddy. I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't know. This person sounds like an idiot. Just ignore them. I don't know. I mean, I guess he said that already, but okay.
Of people. Now, every time I see these characters, the image that pops in my mind is not like, oh, like you're a clever, smart guy who has infiltrated the opposing faction. You're like the spy in Team Fortress 2. It's like...
All I got from this video is Idubbbz is raped by online trolls. I mean, I just, yeah. It was kind of a meh video, really. I had some fun talking about some of the political aspects, I guess, but it's just something and nothing to me. I don't have like particularly strong feelings about it, really. It's just like, okay. It's like eating a Big Mac and then feeling hungry straight after.
No, that is a fantasy.
And it just being gay Breadtube shit, basically. You know? Some of it, like some of the stuff about people being like annoying commenters or like still banging on about how much Idubbbz has changed. I'm like, yeah, sure. Okay. There's a point to be made there. But other than that, it's just, yeah, kind of sucks, really. I don't even think, it's not even sucks. It's just like, meh. It's not really much to feel a particular way about. Yeah, this video would have been great if some retarded Breadtuber had released it 5 years ago, sure.
What you actually are is you're like Steven Crowder in a wig at a women's only event, thinking that they're making some kind of grand point.
Hi, I'm Stephanie with all the frequencies of feminism, and I am here at the Women's March in Austin.
We quickly found out that nobody questions, criticizes, nor runs security background checks on trannies.
Whoa! The reason someone like Steven Crowder gets into this position is not...
Okay, so the problem with this is that while Steven Crowder is a fucking moron and probably did this in a very shitty way, right? There is a point to be made that, like, you can trust yourself up like some fucking, you know, some trans person and you know, like, be accepted at these events. So, the problem is like, again, that's another thing. Dude, there's multiple points in this video where I'm just like, yeah, but it's like kind of, who cares at this stage? Right? Like, sure, there's a point to be made of what Steven Crowder's doing, and getting annoyed about it is a bit gay, but it's also just like kind of done at this point. Bro, dude, isn't this like fucking years old? Isn't this Steven Crowder thing literally from like fucking 8 years ago or something like that? I mean, he's saying the T slur openly. I would have thought this was like an old piece of content because I don't think you can do that anymore. It's 2017. Right, okay.
Not because of his cunning, it's because people are like, oh, you're a fucking weirdo freak. I'm staying, you know, 20 feet away from you at all times.
Okay, that's not true. Bro, this is complete cope to act like, maybe in this particular instance that's what was happening. But there are plenty of instances you can point to where someone is pretending to be trans and they're getting accepted because you don't want to query the idea that someone with a beard is a fucking woman or whatever.
Or, I'm going to be a very non-judgmental person, and I'm not going to ask any questions about whatever you got going on here.
We could get away with anything. Go anywhere, act any way we wanted, and we were really able to learn what today's progressive issues are all about.
And I guess in this case, it's a massive own.
It's like, it feels like he's reaching back to 2017 to address trans discourse in some fashion. in the context of talking about concern trolls. But anti-trans rhetoric and discourse has developed tremendously since then. And there are way better things you can talk about and look at that are, I think, harder to contest and harder to deal with.
Okay, that's wonderful.
And he just is talking about some Stephen Crowder skit from 2017. I mean,
so the crowd that gaslights Ethan Klein is crying about Discord losers? The smugness makes me violently angry.
Thank you, TV, for the super chats.
He's proven that people are tolerant of him. Having said that, I think we can end this video on a positive note. I'm proposing that fucking with people might be a way for some of these concern trolls to indulge in things and lifestyles that they never thought were possible because they're so opposed to them. So by pretending to be the very thing that you hate, you might actually gain some sympathy, or you might be like, oh, actually, the people in this community I kind of fuck with. All right, guys, that is going to do it for this episode of Idubbbz Complains. I hope you enjoyed watching. I will put a Patreon link down below. I'm still cooking on what needs to be uploaded there, so don't expect content on there straight away. Thank you for all of your kind comments down below. I know that they're all going to be kind, just singular kind words like "you rock."
Yeah, I don't know. There's not really much. It was just kind of like, meh. I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting, really. I thought there was going to be, like, I saw that fucking he talked about, what's her face? I need to suck Easian. Just a bit lame, yeah. Just a bit lame. Mid-trite dated Breadtube rant. Yeah, sure. See, look, Queenman could be fair, see? I agree with that, yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Very underwhelming. Very underwhelming, I'd say.
Okay, that's wonderful.
I'm not doing the boxing coach thing. I literally do not want to look at Ethan's face. Not doing it. Don't care. Carrot posters, fuck off. Not doing it. Thank you for the super chat. The second coming of Jesus Christ could return to Earth via Ethan's H3 podcast, and I would not fucking watch it. Okay? Carrot posters, leave. I'm sick of the sight of you, and I'm not doing it. Okay? Literally don't care. Literally do not care. It could be revealed that Idubbbz fucking twisted himself into a pretzel, or I don't fucking know. I can't think of a thing, okay? Dude. Yes, carrot posters. I don't fucking know what it means. I do know what it means, but there's no specific definition of it, okay?